All the classes that you define should properly chain constructors together with their superclasses. For example, inside of the employee class constructor, I should merely accept the values for the fields defined by the person class. For example, I should not assign values for first name and last name to the fields inside of the employee class constructor. This should be done where the fields are defined, which is inside of the person class. The employee constructor should merely accept values for these fields and supply these values to the superconstructor, which will be the person constructor. You can use the super keyword to call superconstructors. However, this must be done on the first line of a constructor and only from a constructor. The super keyword can also be used to access overridden fields and also methods. You cannot chain constructors together inside of the class and also with superconstructors. For example, I could not have a constructor which will call a constructor inside of the same class and also a superconstructor. Shown here is the definition of the employee class, which extends from person. Here I have defined a basic default constructor. Inside of this default constructor, I merely call a default constructor for the person class. If you do not define a default constructor for your class, Java will insert a default constructor which will look identical to this constructor shown here. The constructor which Java will insert will merely call a default constructor of the superclass. For this reason, you should always define constructors for all of your classes.